Fellas, if you ask a lady on a date and she travels to your side of town across toll roads, Sunday morning coast traffic, pay for her coffee and lunch for don't get to the end of the date and go, oh, I just normally split the bill straight down the middle. All right then, split the travel, the fuel and the tolls down the middle, you $20.75 my half came to. $20.75. I would have spent more than that in travel. Pick up the game, fellas. Seriously, assess the situation. I'm not saying pay for it all the time. I'm not saying that. But seriously? $20.75?
I don't even know what to say. Why do you find it perfectly normal to shout about the benefits of feminism on every online platform, and yet be so outraged about splitting the bill for lunch and gas? Really? What's the problem? Sorry, girl, but you don't even look like a girl to be spoiled with flowers and gifts. You look like a mom who will pay for everything herself and give money for soda from the vending machine by home. So what do you want? You want to be courted like a princess? Then be one, for goodness' sake. And yes, such princesses don't use foul language. I think you know what I mean.
Date update. Went on my date last night. He showed up. He looked just like his picture. I met this guy on Bumble. It was first date. Super cute. We had great conversations, laughing, like all that little, touchy-feely type stuff. I was like, I really like this guy. Like this could, be a good second date. And he ordered a drink, asked me what I wanted to drink. And I was like, obviously I'm not drinking right now. I'm on prep for a competition I have in October. Again, not a big deal, right? Like I normally drink, but not a big deal. Didn't think it was a big deal. Night goes on. About an hour and a half later, he's like, hey, I'm really sorry, but my buddies called and want me to go hang out and party with them tonight. And I just don't feel like this is working out because you're not drinking it. I am. And I just need to be with somebody that is, if I'm drinking, they can drink and we can just like have a good time together. And I'm like, you're not having a good time just sitting here talking? He's like, well, I am, but I'm getting buzzed and I just saw this night going different. I thought we would get drunk together. And I'm like, it's a Wednesday. Like, I go to bed. I have work in the morning. He's like, yeah, I don't have to work till really late. And anyways, and then he just said, good night. He gave me a hug. And then I walked out of the restaurant all by myself. So, I don't know. Thoughts? Like, is it that big of a deal that I don't drink? I don't know. You guys tell me. I mean, I drink, just not right now. I didn't think that was a deal breaker for a first meetup date.
Well, perhaps my comment will echo the opinions of many. That is, did this woman not realize that he simply might not have appreciated her? Yes, he just didn't like her, that's all. He probably wanted to have a drink with her to pass the time because he didn't want to go on this date sober. Sometimes you just drink to escape from reality a bit. Most likely she wasn't his type, and the woman just didn't notice it. I'm sure that if she were 23 years old, or around that age, the man's enthusiasm would have been much higher. I mean, he realized that no matter how nicely they chatted, this woman just wasn't his type, and her attitude towards alcohol had nothing to do with it. Isn't it obvious?
Four most common complaints I've heard from guys in the dating world. So ladies, let's try to do better, okay? First off, if you set up a date, show up. Why would you be so rude as to waste someone else's time? At least communicate if you can't make it, okay? Second, what's up with people asking for money on these apps? Seriously, ladies? Just no. Third, let's take real pictures and look like ourselves, okay? Because we're gonna meet these guys. And don't you want them to like you for who you are, not some doctored picture with a million filters? Love yourself more than that. And last, don't ghost. It's just the rudest thing you can do. We have this thing called technology. Simply text the person. Come up with any excuse you want, but don't leave them hanging.
If this woman meant real advice about being a more polite person, then yes, I think it's right. no one, neither a woman nor a man, will be pleased if they are ignored or if dates are scheduled and then not attended. Yes, that's rude, but if she said all this sarcastically, implying that no one should change and become better, even in simple human communication and relations, then sorry, I'm out. Yes, absolutely, I don't like that. We always need to remain human, respect other people and their opinions. Just be polite. It might brighten someone's worst day. We are all rational adults here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It will help the channel grow and allow us to better understand our modern reality of relationships. When people start openly expressing their opinions and sharing thoughts, we can learn a lot together.
I'm someone who's been eternally single, but there's this one thing that I now know, that when I start dating again, it's going to be so much easier to find my person. And that is knowing myself, knowing what I want. I'm not saying 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, not that kind of stuff. I mean, that would be nice, obviously, if they look like how you want them to look. Child free by choice. I'm also 36, so I can't be having a guy that's on the fence about having kids, and I don't really want somebody who's got young children either, because I don't envision that for my life over the next couple of years. Deal breaker, that's pretty common sense. But also in terms of boundaries and values and what I stand for and what I don't. I went on a date about 6-7 months ago with a guy who had too much to drink, in my opinion, to then drive home. I said to him, I can try to drop you somewhere, you should probably get a taxi. I was driving and sober. And I let it slide. He's like, that never happens. Yeah, I probably had that extra drink I shouldn't have had. First date, and I went on 2 or 3 more with them. For me, that's like telling the universe as well as that person that is okay with you. And it's not. I'm just more secure now in going in, being cutthroat, to be honest. He was like being an emotionally available, a narcissist. There was many red flags in that date. Really being aware of those red flags, and also what is a red flag to you and what your values are and what you want. I know myself now about the way I feel about something. I'm not excited to see that person again in a romantic way. And I know people are going to be here saying, oh, that's your anxious attachment. I've done that before, where I've tried to say it's just my ego and it's just my commitment phobe issues, and it ended up being completely the wrong relationship for 6 months. I was dating this guy and it never felt right, and I just kept blaming myself and just being scared. And it's like, just trusting yourself. If I'm not excited to see that person, if it's he's nice, he's fine, it was alright, just no. No matter how good on paper it might look. No. The thing I'm going back out with is keeping to my deal breakers, sticking to my values and what I accept and what I don't accept, which to me, not what's reasonable as female behaviour, aligned with my values and what I think is important and how someone should behave or not behave. And the last one is listening to my body and how someone makes me feel.
Don't you think this woman looks a bit tired for her 36 years? Yes, I understand. We are all not perfect. But, I think there comes a time when you will just have to accept what comes your way, or stay alone. Yes, I think that's how it will be. To have some requirements, you also need to meet them a little yourself. It is foolish to spend time on relationships that, despite being good, still do not suit you for some reasons. You can endlessly choose, trying to achieve the ideal, or come to terms and consider a partner as your lifelong love. In the end, our life is quite short to waste it on endless searches. Maybe I'm wrong, of course. I don't even know. What do you think about this? Very difficult question.
Okay, I totally hear what you're saying, and I know this to be true. Stay single so you can stay happy. But my mind is happy, but my body is deprived. And I tried to just hook up with a random dude, and my body won't do it. I have to have a connection. And I'm not spending the rest of my life sexless. Now, am I willing to spend the rest of my life without a man? Yes, but not sexless. I have to find a human connection so I can have a physical connection. Oh my God. It is like my body's betraying me. I want to snuggle and I want to watch a movie. Oh, I want to wake up and get laid. I don't know what's happening to me. Because I want to hold someone's hand. There's so many things I want to do, and I cannot do them by myself.
Don't you think she isn't as happy as she seems to think she is? No, your body doesn't betray you. It signals that you are no longer a young girl, and that many things are no longer within your reach. You just want tenderness and warmth, which are cultivated through long and persistent relationships and working on yourself. Running from date to date until the first signs of fading won't help you form such a connection. Yes, absolutely. I think you'll agree with me that being alone is the easiest option. It's like a quick hit of dopamine. Yes, quick dopamine, an easy joy of existence. But for example, if you read a big and complex book, you'll get a deep and lasting dopamine that will make your life fulfilling. I think you understand what I mean. Right now, everyone is used to being alone, avoiding complicated relationships. But, in the long run, this doesn't benefit women.
All right, so I've gotten a lot of comments similar to this one, that I'm too picky. And it's usually from men that really probably don't meet my bare minimum. But listen, everyone has preferences, like everybody. I'm not for everybody. Some people don't like my facial piercings. They don't like all the tattoos I have. They don't like my weight. Some people even have a problem with Isaac. Like, they don't want to date someone who still has all of that responsibility with a child. Or, I've had men come and say they don't agree with him playing with Disney dolls and things like that, and they aren't the men for me. I'm not the person for them. It's okay to be picky. I have a great life, let me tell you. So, I'm happy to take myself on vacation. I take myself out to eat. I do all kinds of things for myself, and I'm totally fine with it. I would like a decent boyfriend. But, if I don't find one, I'm big whoop. Because I have a good life. I really do. And there's nothing that I can't do for myself. So, I'm asking for basic bare minimum. I'm not being unrealistic. I want a dude that has a decent job. I would like someone who has decent teeth. I would like someone with good hygiene. I want someone honest and kind and compassionate and caring and loving. It's real bare minimum. I don't know why people are saying this stuff. Weirdo. Sorry, but it's weirdo comments. And I deserve someone that matches with my lifestyle. I just am not a fan of trying to date someone I'm not attracted to. I'm not gonna get naked with someone I'm not feeling it with. And so there has to be an attraction there. There has to be. I've lowered my standards plenty of times and ended up with men who have taken advantage of the situation, so I ain't doing that. And I'll keep that bar high, and if I'm alone, taking myself on vacations, taking myself out to eat, doing for myself, I'm fine with that.
I don't quite understand why this comment from the video calls this woman picky. Well, listen, did she mention any unattainable requirements for her potential partner? No, she just wants him to be adequate, take care of himself and his health, not have any psychological problems, and be able to at least provide for himself. I find these requirements reasonable. If you want, these are basic needs to create some promising and strong relationships in order to eventually start a family. I think any normal man would want a woman with the same basic characteristics, not an alcoholic or a hysteric. So yes, if you have the same standards for your partner, then I think you are absolutely reasonable. Yes, exactly.